We're continuing with Boldtober. If this is new to you, what we're doing is painting something every day. And I'm providing you with a little clip from Watercolor Bold, my painting membership, where you can get a taste for just an idea of what you might want to paint for the day. Now this week is a little different because we have a free spot. So on the 15th, we have a free spot where we can paint whatever we want or not. So take from the wealth of Watercolor Bold. There's a 7-day trial if you just want to try it out. And if you're a member, you have full gamut to all the things. So go ahead and paint whatever you want. Use the hashtag Boldtober and tag me, Watercolor Devo, so that I can see it on social media. This is for those of you who like to do technical botanical drawings. So maybe you want to dig up some old books of flower seeds and botanical renderings and copy them with your pen and ink. It's actually a really fun exercise in distinguishing how much you want to show and how much you want to let go of. That is a key element in working with ink. We can go really head-on strong with the brush, or when we're using this type of pen and ink, we're only wanting to use thin lines at times, or maybe no lines at all, and thicker lines where the shadows are. So the values are represented by the thickness of the line. And I'm creating just ovals that just radially turn into different colors. Maybe I want some yellow buttons coming through along with some blue. Later make that something else. I can decide later. Right now, I just want to fill this page with color. Let it dry so that we can come back with our ink. But I'm making a lot of C shapes, kind of encapsulating each other to create the folds of a flower. As much as I can, I am really trying to just not care about, making sure that the perspective is right. I just want to capture the moment, and what's most important are the most important parts. So with his jack-o'-lantern, he was trying to make it smile, but it just looked like this, where it had this like crooked smile. I don't think you have to get real fancy with your painting, but it does really add a lot to just kind of bring the scene into context. Let's say on this given day, you went picking for flowers in your backyard, but you always want to maintain kind of this feel of childlikeness. I find it really actually helpful to not use a pencil first and to just really go with something more doodly, simplifying your subjects, a little lettering to really personalize it. What's tempting to do with texture is to render every single line of this woven wicker or whatever it is. But instead of doing that, what I'm going to do is I am going to define the bottom, and I'm going to use my brush to play with some line quality pushing. Now at this point, I want to create some broken lines that are going horizontally. All right, now that I have these horizontal lines as markers, then I can bring in some of these darker pockets. And I'm just doing that by touching the page. Can add some sporadic marks just to really break it up a little bit so they don't look like stripes. I like to do the sleeves first. I'll then bring in the body, which is a square that narrows down a little bit here towards the bottom. I'm making this pretty small, but guess what? If I want to make it bigger, all I need to do is fatten up my lines a little bit. My sleeves are feeling a little short, so if I were to bring these sleeves down, they might come to about here, which means we need to make them a little longer. Let's give our sweater that cute little V. Since I'm working with marker, I don't need to worry about how my button is lighter, and I need to allow space for that. Usually with watercolor, you do want to pay attention to those lighter spots because you need to work around them so that they stay light. But since we're working with an opaque medium on top of watercolor, we have a chance to bring in the light later. Let's add any shadows that I might need here for you. Adding a slightly different color to a darker brown. And this color should come down here too. It wraps around. While my marker is going to show the fun patterns in this sweater, I want this darker color to show the folds in the fabric. And sometimes that means the woven pattern. Making decisions on what is painted and what is marker. Kind of like some wonky lines. I think I'll make this frill. And we're going to have these little folds that happen that start thick at the top and then dissipate into lines. I'm going to use the very tip of my brush to give it a subtle outline. Whenever you see a fold happen, try to adjust your line a bit to it. We're going to do some very stylized hills and valleys. So each little area I'm outlining with my large brush and just let those areas fill with color. And you want to be a little varied in how they overlap. I like where the shapes meet for them to be pointy, almost as if they're layers folding into each other. Just bringing in a darker color of watercolor. Again, just playing with mark making. Just expressively playing with form. What I like about bringing in a little marker is that it creates a uniform shape. Sometimes it's fun to bring in some uniformity to something that has a lot of random quality to it. I'll create these teardrop shapes by holding the brush perpendicular and twirling it around. And then I'll come in and bring in more dimension of what is the bottom half. Let's say you want your mushroom to really show a lot of that underneath. You can twirl it around in kind of a circular fashion. Something that helps to make it feel like it's really stemming from the center is to go a little darker on this inside rim. All right, let's do the tops of these. Connecting from the end of one of the tops of your mushroom, do the same motion from one end, extend the arc, come back, and then adjust those edges. You can darken at the top. You can even give them a little bit of a bump at the top. Different mushrooms, depending on their angle, will show different amounts of the top. I'm going to outline ever so gently, letting my line get thicker in some places and thinner in others. So it really acts as a shadow and not as an outline. That is it for week 3. I hope you are enjoying every bit of this Boldtober. Look, we're almost done. Check out the rest of the prompts on the next slide and sign up for email. You'll get goodies to keep you going. Let's keep that stamina through Boldtober. I can't wait to see what you do.